Even if you haven't got to Sports Unplugged, it's me, Chris Pratt, and with the usual suspects of Kev and Luke. How are we doing, gents?
Hey, feeling good. Doing well.
I'm just wrecking the gaff here. You good?
Yeah. Kev's going full WWE. He's just going to start smashing chairs everywhere.
Yeah.
So, are we all good? Have we all had a good week? It's been quite a quiet week, really, in terms of football.
Yeah. Nothing exciting's happened, does it?
No.
Run-of-the-mill Liverpool stuff. Just go and play
much.
games, win games.
Yeah,
play
pretty normal Champions League finals.
Yeah, get to European finals. Big boy football.
It's not for everyone.
It isn't for everyone. And as Leicester point, as we also saw with Leicester, knocking Roma out of semi-finals, it's just not for everyone. But we move. We see how we go. So, Luke, we haven't had you on a show since
last week.
Since Liverpool qualified for a European Cup final for the third one in 5 years, which is not bad going. What were your thoughts, mate? What were your thoughts on the game?
Thoughts on the game? I was at work when the game was on, but I still managed to watch a large majority of it. I felt like the first half, I thought the players thought that they could just turn up and it will be more of the same. We'll knock it about a bit. Villarreal will try, but the second the first goal went in, I thought, no, it couldn't happen. Could it? We couldn't get Barcelona, could we? And then we went 2-0 down, and I thought, nah, there's no way. There's no way the first half won't be as bad as the second half. And the second half started. I saw Diaz come on. I thought, yeah, we'll be okay. And then the second we scored the first goal, I was like relaxed, knowing that that would go through. Because the first half was probably one of the worst first halves I've seen this season.
Red Steve said it does have like it looks like Kev's got a Super Bowl on the shelf the way we've got the background. It does actually look like
it does, doesn't it? I had to double check. I was like, what?
When he said that, I was like, it's a pit. It's a pit in the background. I went, oh yeah.
Just behind me there, I've got a table, and I used to have a telly on it, and I've had to move the telly. I've moved the telly.
Well, that Super Bowl is massive. That Super Bowl is massive, isn't it?
Where the Super Bowl trophy is sat, right here, is my little table out in the kitchen.
Don't have to be your new name now. Kev Super Bowl O'Sullivan.
Spot on.
Any good question, Auntie? Where are we all planning to watch the final? Now, some of the lads are off to Paris, aren't they? I think Gav and a few of the lads are going to Paris. No tickets, but I think it's just to be in Paris, which I think if you did for Madrid, which is fair enough. I think it sounds quite right. I think I will be at home. I'll
be at home as well.
I'll probably do what I did last time, which is I think last time I watched it with my dad and me mate.
Last time I went out to watch Liverpool in the Champions League was the Carriers horror show. So I think I'm staying in.
Well, the last two finals I saw out was Athens and Basel. So I'm thinking staying at home is probably not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I'm going to take the
London for the FA Cup final.
Well, I know
going to be great.
I'm no one blaming if it doesn't go well.
No, for me, I'm very routine regimented when it comes to watching Liverpool. I sit in the same spot on the sofa. I have the same things around me. I do the same routine before I watch a match. Every game without fail. And I don't care if it's a League Cup third round or a Champions League final. I'm the same. I used to, when I was younger, I used to go out to the pub and watch football and that. But I like to watch the game. If I'm in a pub, I can't watch it because we end up chatting and getting distracted.
Yeah.
If I'm watching the game, I want to watch the game. Do you know what I mean?
Politely, this is why I don't do watch-alongs. When the Mets are on, I don't really want to talk to anyone. I kind of want to focus on it. I think the only interaction I tend to have is actually with you, Kev, to be fair, when you and me are WhatsApping each other.
And I'm sat there trying to calm you down during
I'm normally pretty calm. I was really pissed off with the Villarreal first. I was really pissed with the Villarreal first half. And then I was
getting Naby Keita off right away. I thought he was.
You was wrong then.
Thiago. I was like,
I thought Thiago played worse than Naby Keita. But
get the captain on.
Keita run more because of that back pass, but I still thought the other thing was worse. I was actually worse, and Kev will testify to this, with the City game, because it just looks City were going through, and Kev knows my feelings. I hate all English fans. I just hate them. I hate build up, all the palaver around it. They just do me head in. And I'd rather, if I'm going to go to Europe, face any European side. Don't get me wrong. I'm pleased we haven't got City, but Real Madrid still have bastard of a draw to get. So.
Yeah.
The thing is, I do not want to be the team that City beat to lift their first one. So I'm sort of glad that it's not them.
Yeah, lads, I was going to book flights and hotels to Paris 2 days before the first leg. It was cheap as chips. And as soon as they beat us, the prices rocketed. They absolutely did.
Yeah,
I think it's now £800 return.
Yeah, an awful lot of people are doing the flying to Brussels or flying to Amsterdam and getting a train into Paris, or flying to a different part of France and getting the train into Paris that way. At the end of the day, it's all about the adventure.
Everyone's focused on Kev and the Super Bowl now. That's
that is just nuts, man. That is just the best caption ever. I swear to God, I'm definitely going to screenshot that one. But I think it's all about the journey. We've said it so many times on different podcasts. So many people have said it all the way through. It's all about the journey. And imagine, even if you're living in Ireland and you get the ferry to Rostov and you drive through France to get to Paris, what a hell of a trip. You know what I mean? It's, if you're going to go there, I can guarantee you the fan parks in Paris are going to be absolutely amazing. I am absolutely jealous, but it's one of those things that I think if you get to do it once in your lifetime, you do it. And if you get any kind of an opportunity to travel to somewhere like that,
so I'm jealous in the good way. It's like I'm jealous in the good way. Like I wish I'd be there, but I'm not. Hopefully next time.
Well, yeah. Next time. But I mean, the way the European finals have worked out, we're the home side for this tie as well. Us against Real Madrid, Roma against Féileacáin. Yeah, and that's been played in Albania. But it's the Olympic Stadium in Albania. It's a huge stadium. It'll be a hell of an event.
Rangers is in
Rangers in Seville, and that's a cracking ground as well. Rangers and
regrets leaving. I wonder if he regrets leaving mid-season.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, before Van Bronckhorst, he got into back-to-back quarterfinals with, and to be fair to Van Bronckhorst, that Rangers squad, if you looked at it on paper, should be nowhere near a European final. Fair play to him. It is.
I actually really want them to win it. I really want them. Could you imagine Liverpool Rangers in the Super Cup?
That'd be interesting.
I hope Frankfurt.
Are they going to have to get like?
Yeah, I was going to say.
What's the Europa Conference League winners going to do? Are they going to play the losers, or
they get promoted to play in the
Europa League group stage?
Group stage straight in.
So that's why. So from a Scotland point of view, they could have Rangers. They could have Rangers and Celtic in the Champions League.
Well, it's massive for Rangers because they go straight into the group stage if they win it.
Is it pot 4 they'll go straight into?
Well, no, they go into pot. If they go into
pot 1.
Pot 1.
If Europa League, which means Celtic would get in, and they get in as pot because they get Rangers winners spot.
I think Celtic might. It would help the coefficients in Scotland massively.
Yeah,
because they really need to get back to the days where there were 2 Scottish sides qualifying for the Champions League. And the only way they're going to do that is by having success in Europe. Now, I'll make no secret about it. I absolutely detest Rangers and everything to do with the club with an absolute passion. But I genuinely do hope that Eintracht Frankfurt beat them senseless. But for them to get to a final, it's a hell of an achievement. But I hope to get absolutely twatted from pillar to post. Hard. Twice. I hope it gets twatted. It gets rained off at 60 minutes and they have to replay it and then they get twatted again. But
speaking about
that, is it a political thing, Kev? Is it a political thing?
Let's leave it there.
Let's move on. It's the thing I was raised with. It's you're one or the other. And there is no middle ground. It's about the only football rivalry in the world where there's no middle ground. You can't be airy-fairy and wish them well and all that. No.
Speaking about not being airy fairy, let's talk UFC. Because you can't be airy fairy in the UFC either.
That's a great segue.
So obviously, because we're going to talk about UFC, we've got our expert of UFC, Kev. What's going on in UFC?
Ask him. I'm busy.
Go on, Luke.
I'm busy.
Luke, take it away because there's some big news just been announced in UFC.
Yeah, some big controversy. I don't know whether or not I'll start with it or end with it.
Let's start with that. That's the biggest story.
Yeah, let's start with it. No lightweight title fight this weekend because the champ missed weight by half a pound, and he was told to get back on. I think in Arizona you get an extra hour if you miss weight to try and lose it, and it goes back on the scale for the third time, and he's a pound over. So if he wins on Saturday, he will not be the champ because he's been stripped. However, should Justin Gaethje win,
just to be clear, of the title,
stripped of the title, title.
Just checking.
Should Justin Gaethje win, he'll become the undisputed champion. And Charles Oliveira makes a bit of unwanted history as the first active champion to be stripped of his belt, of his title belt, due to missing weight. So, which is absolutely crazy. That is not how he wanted his title reign to go, to be honest. But yeah, that was probably like the most newsworthy thing of the whole week.
Yeah,
leading up to this fight was him missing weight.
It's crap. Crap for the card because that was the headline of the card, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, the headliner.
Yeah, I mean, I've no sympathy for the ex-champ because I'm not being funny, and this sounds very rocky. It's your job. Your job is
absolutely
is to make weight and keep yourself in reasonable condition. It's like same with footballers. Which is why I had no sympathy for Sacco. When Sacco got done for his fat pill. You're like you're a professional footballer.
Yeah, you should professional athlete. Yeah, you should
maintain. You should be able to maintain a certain level of professionalism.
More and more fighters are missing weight. The event last weekend, Rob Font missed weight. I think there was another fighter on this card missed weight by half a pound. So it's your job. It's your job to stay in shape. That's why I'm not a Paddy Pimblett fan, because in the octagon, great. Outside the octagon, if you saw him on the street, you'd never realised he's a UFC fighter because he doesn't look after himself as a fighter. And I feel like that's the bare minimum. And it's not the first time Charles has had weight problems in the past, because at featherweight, he missed weight. I think one time he weighed in 5 pounds over the featherweight limit. So that's why he moved up due to weight problems. And yeah, it's mad. Like, what's he going to do now? Should he win? Is he going to move? Like, if he wins, the belt is still vacant.
Laura's making a great point there, because in Arizona, you go outside in the sweats for an hour and you lose the weight. So if he's 155.5, and in that 60 minutes, that hour, he can't shift.
Go for a run outside.
You go for him, or as stupid as it may sound, shave off his head. You shave off his head.
To me, that tells me. I mean, we were talking before we came on air. He's moved up from featherweight, which is 10 pounds less.
Yeah.
To fight at lightweight, and if he's struggling, if he's that tight at this weight, either his camp was poor,
or he needs to go up.
No, he doesn't. He won't be able to go up anymore. I understand where Chris is coming from about the unprofessionalism side of it, but you're talking about half a pound. I find it very strange. And we were saying that he's not the only fighter who's on the card who had.
I think there was a female. Dumont missed it by half a pound, but I think she had an hour to lose weight, and I don't know whether or not she made weight again, or if she made weight or missed it again. So I guess.
But even the simple thing is, because if you haven't seen, if you watched the Ultimate Fighter, the TV show, the reality show of it, sit in the sauna for 20 minutes. They all sit in a sweat bag for a sauna for 20 minutes. It's not healthy. But for half an hour, you'd lose half a pound sitting in the sauna for 20 minutes. This is
what I don't understand. He was given the hour. He took the hour. And he came back onto the scales and he didn't shift it.
Did nothing in that hour. So he didn't have anything left to lose.
Exactly. And that would scare me more.
His nutritionist should be fired.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
But that would scare me more with him going into this fight. It could go one or two ways, that he will literally blow up in the next 24 hours and put on enough weight.
He'll gas out, I think.
Yeah. Well, he could put on enough weight in the
To
next 24 hours to do some damage, or
Well,
the other
Justin
side of it
Gaethje
is,
put on Twitter that when Charles is trying to lose that half a pound, I've already gained 10 pounds now.
yeah,
Like, I am rehydrating the right way, and now I
Yeah.
think he weighs 165. Gaethje now after weighing in, so that's definitely changed what I think is going to happen. Because if I'm Justin Gaethje, it's either I press him straight out the blocks because Oliveira is renowned to be a bit of a slow starter, and Gaethje's the complete opposite, likes to climb the blocks quick with the leg kicks. Or does he drag it out? Let's see how good the cardio is now. You've missed weight. Like, let's see how good a shape you're in. Let's see if we can
Well,
drag
we'll
this
find-
out. But it's going to be very interesting, and I think it will
we'll
be
definitely find. I mean, the other
And new.
event, the other event in the card, Rose Namajunas and Carla Espinosa, Michael Chandler and Tony
Esparza.
Ferguson.
Yeah.
So
The
it's a busy
co-main,
card. It's a good card, but it's
the
not.
first three are good, and then the
Yeah.
other two, it's like Legends League, as I unofficially called it, the Legends League.
Yeah.
Underneath, 2 fights with all the sets of fighters, not going to challenge for a title, not going to push for the top 15 at all. They're like their fan fights for like the fans. It's like all these legends are going at it. Which, if you're in America and paying $80 for, I'd be a little bit. I'd want like a young up and coming star on that card as well as like the legend, like 2 legends going at it.
Yeah,
So,
there's some questions flying in there for Luke. If Oliveira wins against Gaethje, will he fight for the new title, do you think?
I don't know. Depends what Dana thinks. It depends how peed off he is for missing weight. And the fact he's been stripped of the belt shows the UFC are not happy. So I don't see him fighting for the interim belt.
Red Steve, I lost £2 in sweat watching the first half on Tuesday.
Yeah, you weren't alone there, pal. MC, Luke, and Kev, what fight do you wish happened that never did? Mine wouldn't be in the UFC. Mine is a boxing one. But my problem is that it did happen. It just happened 5 years too late. Was the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight.
Mine is Anderson Silva GSP. Should have happened. Should have happened in their prime. Could the same for Anderson Silva, John Jones. Should have happened. Missed the boat completely.
Yeah.
So
I'd have liked to. Lennox Lewis against Tyson would have been good if it happened before. Lennox had a shock loss and he had to go and win the title back. And then he did fight Tyson, but it took the shine of it a little bit.
Yeah, massively.
That would have been nice. Probably a year or two earlier than it was, because that was a big one at the time as well, as I remember. There's
actually one fight that I wish happened that never did, and it's way before you guys would have been probably before Luke was born.
Thanks.
It was Barry McGuigan against Azuma Nelson. And at the time, McGuigan was world champion, but so was Azuma Nelson. And Azuma Nelson was one of the pound for pound greats. And McGuigan was kept away from him for years. He never fought him. But it was one fight growing up that it was probably in the mid 80s, but it was one fight that I really wish happened that never ever did. It would have been an absolute belter. Tom Boland has got a comment up here. So I know nothing about boxing or whatever the fight is, but my question is, do they check fighters' weight on fight night, Luke?
No, but I think they do check them on fight night. I think because there was an issue with a fight, Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori, because Costa was changing the contract about what weight. It was at middleweight, then it was a catch weight at 200 pounds, and then they agreed at light heavyweight. And on the fight night, they weighed in, and Vettori weighed 206, and Paulo Costa weighed in on fight night at like 238 pounds. So yeah, they do weigh them on fight night. Yes, they do.
Yeah, I know with boxing, they do, you're allowed to go up a certain amount. And they also do check weights at periods right the way through. I think UFC do as well.
Before camp, like during camps, they'll make sure that they will check them to make sure the fighters are on schedule to lose weight.
Yeah, it's mainly in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get that a lot more in the last 2 weeks of fights. But look, I mean, UFC 274, it's going to be on BT Sport. It's going to be a good event,
Good
but
event.
I don't think it's going to be a patch on
This is like a
what we saw.
placeholder event because there was images going round of Dana's White's matchmaking board leaked. And let me tell you, there are some quality fights coming at the back end of the year, and someone's getting sacked because Dana would have not wanted to see some of those fights being released early. So someone's getting fired. Good, because you don't put, we're going to try and get Stipe John Jones in July. I think we've got UFC London coming. We've got Holloway Volkanovski 3 end of July. Got the welterweight title. Got McGregor's come back at the back end of the year. So
he'll probably blame that poor Hawani chap again. He's blames him for bloody everything. That journalist he gets blamed for everything. Then he leaked the Brock Lesnar fight a bit earlier than Dana would have liked. Basically, did what a journalist should do, which is he found out.
If Charles Oliveira could have made that other half a pound vanish, it would have been a really good card.
It would have been. It would have been. Some would say if you could make it IP vanish, that would have been even better. There we go. There's me 1 point for the day. Right. So, Luke, did you know that browse online using incognito doesn't actually protect your privacy without added security? You may as well give your data away to hackers, advertisers, and other prying eyes. But if you use IPVanish VPN, you're truly private and secure on the internet, and it encrypts 100% of all your data. That's all your passwords, communications, browsing history is all completely shielded from unwanted people. So all you need to do with IPVanish is it's one click of a button and you're secure, and it doesn't affect your speed. You can use it on a computer, tablet, phone, or any devices like a Fire Stick where you can use streaming services. So basically, you could be completely secure home or in public. So IPVanish are giving us an offer of 70% off their yearly plans, and you also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you get 9 months for free. And these guys are rated 4.6 out of Trustpilot. So if you guys want to take advantage of the offer, go to ipvanish.com/daytrippers. All the details are in the show description below. I think we're getting better at that segue. What do you reckon? It's not as bad. It's not as bad as me my post-match one, which I think the Newcastle one really got up people's noses. But never mind. What I'm here for. Are we doing F1? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're going to make that.
We are. Now that you mentioned it, we are, because the weekend is going to Miami, and it's the first time they've ever been to Miami, and it is going to be. It's going to be a really good race because it's got everything.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at me. I'm just bigging myself up here. I've actually okay. See the way Spanish.
The one good thing about the Miami race is it's 7 p.m. in the UK, so the football will be over for the day. Sunday night, nothing else on. Sit down and watch it. The other news that came out of F1 was the 2-year extension was announced for Drive to Survive on Netflix, and it's the one thing that is. I was watching some of the interviews actually they did with the Miami Dolphin players. That they did a mix of, the F1 drivers going to Miami Dolphins spring training and messing about with them. All of the drivers were hooked on F1, but they were hooked on F1 because of Drive to Survive. That series has just blown up across America, and that's why they've got 3 races now from next year on.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Because this is definitely my ignorance, because it's not a sport.
No, you should.
What is Drive to Survive? Is it? I'm sure it's not F1.
It is F1. It is a behind the scenes one of it's. Do you remember when they did the behind the scenes stuff with the football clubs? Amazon did it. It's Netflix.
All or nothing. Like the all or nothing stuff.
Netflix do them better, to be honest, because Amazon they seem very edited.
Netflix shoot shit all over Amazon when it comes to this.
Yes,
and they follow it. They have exclusive rights to all access areas of every Formula One team throughout the whole season. So they film for the entire season, and then they edited it all down and release it next year.
Is it basically just the good bits of F1? So I could probably actually tolerate it.
It's the warts and all. It's everything, all the good stuff, the bad stuff. And to be fair, this last year that they've just had was everything. That a Formula One.
Is this what everyone got really upset over because Lewis Hamilton came second overall?
You couldn't script that for a TV series better than what happened.
Okay.
But what happened was natural. It was organic. But if you were to turn around and say it was scripted for a TV series, you'd say, nah, it's just not believable. There's just no way.
Hey, Sunlight Till I Die on Netflix was epic.
Scott, do you know when I first watched Sunlight Till I Die, and I've watched it more times than
I'm shocked they've not renewed it because I want to see it again.
I generally thought if you've seen The Office, like the Ricky Gervais thing, I thought it was like a mockumentary. I generally thought episodes, this is a piss take. It's not actually Sunderland. This is just really good. And you went, fuck no, this is real. This is it. Because I've said it before. This is where we all say like, oh yeah, but it's all right. Us on Twitter or us on podcasts go, just go and buy it. Just pay the money. That's all you do.
I would.
That's what they did. And you went, fuck me. That's why it's so bad.
I think the best episode I've ever seen of Drive to Survive was the one with Roman Grosjean. When he had that really bad crash and his car went up in a fireball.
Ooh.
And they literally they showed that. And then the whole episode was that crash. But what they did is they sat down with him, his wife, and just the interviewer, and they watched it and they described what they were, what they were feeling, what they were going through. They talked to the teams, they talked to the other teams, the other drivers, what they felt about it, because no one has, those kind of fatal crashes are a thing of the past. It's the one thing that came out of Ayrton Senna's death was the safety in Formula One went through the roof. And I honestly think if you're not a Formula One fan, watch the series from start to finish. And you don't have to back it, but just watch the series without knowing any results of what the season is. Just watch the series. And by the end of it, you'll love the series. And you'll be interested. You'll have an investment in some of the drivers because you like the drivers. You'll get to know the drivers. You'll get to know the team, the people, the mechanics, the team owners, the directors, everything involved in it. You become. That's what they've done. They've created an environment where people who aren't fans of the sport can become invested in a team or in various teams. And they've done that now over the various seasons. So now people are coming to Formula One when the season starts and they want to see Lewis Hamilton do well. They want to see Max Verstappen do well because they saw him on Drive to Survive.
Chris does not look convinced.
No, he doesn't have to be because Chris doesn't follow the sport. But I guarantee you'll love the series.
But things are, I do like watching sport. I do watch a lot of sport documentaries of sports I don't follow. I watch a lot of American football films or docu-films about them. And I have no idea who these players are. It just says so-and-so was good at college. And I found out some of these people, like, if you're into NFL or NFL greats. Yeah, so I've done that. I've watched loads of NFL as well, and I found these people become apparently, if you're an NFL fan, they're like the greats of NFL who I've never heard of. But when you watch the documentary about them, going, "Oh, it's really interesting." That's why I liked the Chicago Bulls Last Dance thing because I watched bits of basketball back then, but I can't remember all of it. So I quite like doing that stuff. So, do you know what? Jokes aside, I actually might give something like that a watch because that's probably more of my street. But
I'll tell you what you do.
But as Tom Bowler rightly points out, though. Yeah, there aren't any envelopes in it though, are there? Like
don't remind me of that.
What you need to do when the football season's finished, and
I think that's what I need this
summer.
I need to watch them.
That'll be a good distraction.
I think that's what I need.
I'll be celebrating the quadruple. I'll be too busy for that.
Well, there's that. But I must be there. Barry saying, is there any ladies volleyball documentaries? I don't know, Barry. I'm sure you'll tell me though if there is.
Yeah. Barry, I would love 5 minutes looking through your Google history.
She was.
It would be a sight.
Yeah, I think he needs a bit of IP vanish for that.
Yeah, he probably does actually. Yeah, I've got to
get you a good deal, mate. 70% off.
Get the link in the description.
DM me later.
Breaking news: Man City have announced their new Champions League shirt sponsor, IP Vanish.
Oh my god, we really use that. So bad.
That's very good. Very good. Dora's won the chat tonight. Just put it out there.
Should we start doing it as a feature? Should we start having comments of the show and see which I mean, Thor's won
Thor's
won
won
this
it
one.
tonight.
You are
that's
now
for certain.
worthy, my friend.
Maybe
You are
start-
worthy.
Maybe we should start doing that now. Oh, you're worthy. Very good. Very good. There's a Marvel reference there. Right.
Yeah.
Let's do some Premier League chat because I want to spend a lot of time talking about Liverpool and Spurs.
Yeah.
Basically,
Look,
let's be honest. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's go through the weekend because there's still some interesting games this weekend. So the least interesting probably Brentford versus Southampton. In terms of Brentford are safe, Southampton are safe. I think that's the no. It's not the. There's no early kickoffs today.
There's no early kickoffs tomorrow
because it's the last day of the championship, isn't it? Tomorrow, so every game of the championship is 12:30. That's why Liverpool's late kickoff. Sounds like I literally found that out last night. I can't remember what show it came up on. I was like, oh, every day's a school day. So these are 3:00. So Brentford against Southampton. Brentford, who to be fair look like they were on a hell of a slide. I've really turned it around form wise. They're doing excellent. Christian Eriksen is just outrageously good. And Southampton are just the most erratic team you'll ever meet. They'll hold City to a 0-0 draw, and then they'll get smashed 5-0 by someone bang average. That's just kind of what Southampton do. Luke, what have you got for this one?
1-1 draw.
Excellent. you look about as interested as I did when we talked about Formula 1.
Callum just messaged me back after the Oliveira thing, so I was just messaging him back quickly.
Oh, okay. So yeah, unprioritizing the show. Lovely, excellent. What I say here. Kev, we'll have words with him after this. Disciplinary reasons.
1-1, couldn't care less.
It's
one of the.
Telling me off.
But it's one of those. It's one of those games, isn't it? It's like, Laura's spot on. If it was on the telly, I'd watch it because Christian Eriksen's watching it. Or Christian Eriksen is playing, and he reminds me of the Christian Eriksen that was at Ajax. You know, the carefree kid
he might
who's
stay
just
an extra season.
I hope he does because I think they could build a side around him. You know, and I think him being the main man would benefit him massively.
Yeah,
but no,
but you could also...
it's not Babu. The best docu-film ever made was Senna, and it's not even.
I've still not seen that yet. I've actually. Jokes aside, that's actually on my watch list.
It's without doubt the single best sports documentary I've ever seen in my life.
I've seen it for uni.
Speaking of F1, an F1 thing that I did watch that I enjoyed was the film Rush.
Yeah,
which is really
James
really
Hunt.
Good. the James Hunt season.
James Hunt, Niki Lauda, 1976.
Yeah, that is good actually. I did enjoy that. Yeah, and let's say that is F1 back then. That was F1 when it was extremely.
Yeah, it was a great
dangerous.
film. Great film. Great film.
Worth a watch that one. So, and I've gone 2-0 Brentford just because I think they're in form. So I'm going for form and they're at home.
So right on the beach.
Big game. Burnley versus Villa. Because I'll be honest, Burnley have in really good form, but almost admit that Everton win probably didn't make them go, shit. Because if you're Burnley, you must be thinking, right, beating Watford. You think Everton will lose to Chelsea. That's a nice cushion. The cushion's not as big as they would hope.
I have to say, Avo says Eriksen will be at Everton. Don't disrespect Eriksen like that. Do not disrespect him.
He's not
in Championship football next
season.
Yeah,
he's too good for the Championship. That's harsh. I'm sure that's getting clipped. And Villa, who were just absolute turd at the moment. That's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard's got a job in his hands because he's clearly told a lot of players, you're playing for your future. I think quite a lot of them are going.
There's half of them have gone.
I'm going. I think they've all gone. Which, to be honest, it's probably not a bad thing for Villa because some of them, I think, they probably want to bid them off anyway.
Yeah, I think
so it helps.
Like one of Villa's youngest, brightest talents have gone. Yeah, I'm off. I'm not signing a new deal. That I can't say his last name, so I'll butcher it.
I know who you're on about.
He's off on the free.
Chukwueze, but it's similar.
Yeah.
He's got. There's this. Do you know what that kid screams of? Jerome Sinclair. Do you remember him?
Because one thing I would say with Villa is kids generally get a chance. There are certain clubs you go, Fulham's won the best for it at the moment, but there's quite a few that are like that. Kev Ball's put 2-1 for Burnley.
Yeah, I agree with Kevin Ball.
United Spurs in America, welcome. Come on, you Spurs. Fair play. Nice to have.
Dortmund bound apparently, according to Barry Devlin.
Oh, Dortmund bound. That'll do him good.
Bellingham's replacement.
Yeah. I'd be amazed if Bellingham goes this summer. I'd like it. Anyway, go back to United Spurs. Nice to have a new person in the chat, to be fair. So I have gone 2-1 Burnley because Burnley are at home, and they just feel like it. Tom Boland's gone 3-1. Weghorst is going to mug Mings. The way Mings is playing, it's not very difficult. I feel like I might have a chance, and I'm massively overweight.
Yeah, I'm going to do a 2-1 Burnley. Gerrard, if he's not careful, he'll be sat by Christmas.
No, he won't.
If he starts off really badly, he could be gone.
I think it's just a long-term project thing with them. I think as long as they don't win the relegation, they're getting the project because they want to change how they play football.
I think getting that extension has probably lifted a lot of weight off Gerrard's shoulders.
Yeah,
he's not going to get asked now for the next 4 or 5 years.
Close to that Liverpool job anyway. So,
well, no, but it's like I say for anything, 4 or 5 years in football's a long time. Will Gerrard be in 4 or 5 years? Who knows? I personally don't think he will, but I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. Most is clipped up in this podcast, so I can't hide from it.
Yeah. Look, I just think that Gerrard and whoever was ever coming into Villa, if they want to get to where West Ham are, and let's face it, West Ham's 1-15 isn't spectacular, and it's achievable if you get your transfer policy right.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you,
they're not as far away. Spending the right money.
They're not as far away as what people think.
I don't think so. But it's the same with most clubs. You're not as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad. Unless you're Norwich.
Please say that's true.
Because they're just.
Please say that comment's true. Yeah. Jerome Sinclair working at my local Waitrose.
I think that might be a joke.
That was true.
So you had Thor's a one-hit wonder tonight.
Yeah. We'll leave it there. Eh? Chelsea. So Chelsea, who apparently on the verge of being taken over, and the people who are going to take over them sounds like they're going down the very data-driven FSG route, and they've got.
Apparently, I don't know how true this is.
Somebody's worked with Michael Edwards.
Yeah, it sounds like, hey, Michael, you fancy coming over and nick the laptop on the way out?
I'll be honest, I don't think that's going to happen. I would imagine things like that security are very, very tight. So, but I think for Chelsea, that's probably the right way they have to go about things, is because if you're not going to have someone who'll just sign an infinite check for whatever you want, then go and have a data route. A lot of clubs
loan just hanging above Chelsea.
Yeah.
No, it says he doesn't want it back, but that loan's going to have to be repaid at some point.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because officially you can't pay it back because of the rules. But
wants it in the charity fund allegedly.
Look, I think there's going to be an awful lot more twists and turns to come on this, but I honestly think that their hands are so hamstrung on what they need to do for the summer. They need this deal to happen very, very quickly. They have lost Tony Rudiger because of this. There is no
he's
doubt.
off to Real Madrid.
Christensen's going as well. The only reason they were able to tie down Féileacáin is because he triggered a contract in his.
The thing is, I think he's off as well. I think I've heard he's really interested in moving.
He's triggered. Féileacáin has triggered. He's staying. He's triggered a contract extension for 12 months.
Which is allowed because it's a clause in the contract. That
if he left in the summer, because there was heavy rumours even after he signed his deal, like he was interested in going. So
Alonso's another one that's going.
Yeah,
and people will mock and laugh at Alonso. It's this.
But
he's an experienced body.
But also, he works as a wing back. He's crap as a fullback, but he's a perfect wing back. Laura Duff says the way Gerrard was talking when he took the job, you always got the sense it was to get through the rest of the season and start a heavy makeover in the summer, which is true. I mean, he went to the women's training facility yesterday. The lady's name escapes me now. Centre back for Villa, she's just retired. Big name for Villa, and she's just retired. But he apparently has been doing a lot of work, a lot of talking with the women's team to make it more of a one club mentality, bring them closer in. That's someone who says to me is trying to set the roots and trying to get his way in the club, which to me is the right way around of doing it. I always think with managers, I think the right managers don't look too far ahead. Is if you're good enough and you do work things well enough, those sort of big offers come, and they come at the right time. So cool. But yeah, Chelsea in different form. I think it's 7 or 8 home wins all season in the league, which is, for the squad they've got, quite surprising. Tommy Tuchel is now talking about it's hard because they've got injuries and Liverpool and City have had all the players available. Suck it up, sunshine.
This is the world's smallest violin that's got his name on it. Stop complaining, please.
If you're going to deflect in a better way, you've got £100 million striker sat on your bench that you don't use. Naguib, Anita Asante, that's it. Thank you very much, Naguib. I knew somebody in the chat would know it. Excellent centre, excellent player she was as well. So I've got just Chelsea 2-1, but it wouldn't surprise me if they drew. Wolves are kind of, I think, form guide like mid-table. They're not on the beat. Well, you say that, but everyone was shitting the bed about Newcastle weren't we last week? Wolves and Newcastle's form was identical.
Yeah,
but in perception is Wolves on the beach, Newcastle playing really well. They're actually in the last 8 games pretty similar. So
yeah, look, I think Chelsea will beat them. I think I've got them down 2-1 as well. I look at Wolves and I'm thinking they're missing a couple of key players now, and it's been a long season, and they're starting to suffer a bit.
It's never out injured.
So,
yeah, I think that there's just two. It's not quite big. There's still a very, very outside chance of Europe. But I think it's extremely outside.
Yeah,
outside chance.
League.
Yeah, but we say that. You say that. Some people say that mockingly.
Yeah, but I think that's
for Wolves. For Wolves, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I think Leicester have now actually seen the value of the Conference League because actually getting to a semi-final of the European competition is good. I actually think that will serve Leicester good for next summer because assuming they get to Europe again, they can go, well, we nearly won the Europa Conference League, which would have been a big thing for the club to win a European competition. Actually, that might help you attract or keep some players that you want because they're going, let's try and do it. Let's try and win it again next year.
People will mock this Conference League, but I guarantee you, if you'd have turned around in 1991 and said, we won the European Cup Winners' Cup, you wouldn't be mocking that.
Which we got
which is what it was.
People just mock the name and the format.
Yeah,
I think the name's what kills it. But yeah, I remember a couple of score when we got knocked out in the semi-finals by PSG. I was heartbroken.
Yeah. So I mean, look, there was always when I was growing up, there was always 3 European Cups, 3 European Cup competitions. You had the European Cup, you had the UEFA Cup, and you had the Cup Winners' Cup.
Which is the one we never won.
This is the one that they revived. And I understand why they did it, because do you know what? There's an awful lot of but there's an awful lot of clubs in an awful lot of countries across Europe who want to experience European football, but will never get to a Champions League. So this is a good competition for the likes of your Wolves, your Leicester, your
look at Roma. They're on a rebuild, and
because trust me, Roma wins it.
But you see Mourinho's reaction. I mean, people say, look, whether you like Mourinho, you don't like Mourinho. You're not telling me get to that European final doesn't mean anything to it. It may not be the Champions League, but to get Roma where they are at the moment,
and plus the first winners as well being Roma, already establishes that this is a good competition to win.
Yeah, George, I think you're right there.
There's two comments there that are kind of Red Steve. The Cup Winners' Cup was for winning the FA Cup, which is true, and the Conference League is for being rubbish in the league. That's also true if you're coming from a top 5 league.
Yes.
If you're coming from a top 5 league, you're going into that finishing 7th or 8th in your top 5 league. Okay, but if you're coming from Portugal or Sweden or Switzerland, you're coming into it for finishing 3rd, 4th, So it creates competition in domestic leagues right the way to the end of the season. And it gives targets that are achievable to go into the latter stages of competitions for your smaller clubs who are aspiring to be something more. And it gives them access to the Europa League if they can go on and win it. So
there's we joke like Wolves. It's going to be very hard for Wolves to get in the Europa League, play a league position in the Premier League. It's so competitive. That's the backdoor way in, and that'll do the job.
Barry Devaney's not wrong. All right, he's turning around. Let's be honest, it's another way for UEFA to make money. It is,
but you can spin it with Callum Sanson says, shout to everyone except Chris. You love me really, Callum. And what makes life worth living.
I'm not having you two going into a one-on-one through the chat on this tonight. It's just not
we'll see. We'll see.
Sorry.
We'll see. It's all right. It's all right. Red Steve's already threatened to ban him.
But
look,
I just think that because we follow Liverpool, and at the moment we're flying high, and everything is rosy in the garden, and things have never been better. Okay, but if you want to attract players to a club, and you're a mid-table Premier League club, and you want to kick on, being in a European competition helps, especially if you're looking to attract someone who is looking for that. So,
but if you flick it the other way, if you think back to 2001, when you look at the Europa League run we had with Klopp, it's a perfect breeding ground for seeing if fringe players are good enough for you from the league
coming through
of a blood and youngsters. Or flip it the other way. Wolves get into the Conference League, just say they do.
Yeah.
And we go, we really need to get Harvey Elliott some meaningful minutes. Just say we do. You were more likely loaning to Wolves going, he's going to play European football with Wolves, which is perfect experience for him. So let's give him to Wolves. Wolves get a good player. They get to play European football. We get to see Harvey Elliott play European football as well as Premier League football. And then he comes back to Liverpool and he's got the perfect experience of his belt. Everyone's a winner. Yeah, so you can use it to benefit yourself in other ways. Where you go like, that's a great way of getting a youngster European football, but you don't want to throw them in the Champions League.
Yeah, it's especially from next year when you're looking at only being able to you're only allowed to loan out 6 players.
Really?
So
is that much?
Yeah, it's I think it's next season that comes in. We're only allowed to loan out 6 players. So you want them to be getting the best competition going. So Callum, we'll get to see the Neto return. Do you know what, Callum? I'll tell you what.
What, for his medical bills? Brilliant.
For someone like Pedro Neto,
he needs
being involved in that kind of a competition to blood himself back into the squad without the pressure and the rigmarole of being thrown into Premier League games, even though you're going to get the 5 subs in Premier League games next season. It is good. I mean, I don't know how squads are going to work this, because clubs are going to have to reduce the amount of players that they have, Liverpool included. I mean, we've probably got 30 first team pros at the club, give or take. So that number is going to probably reduce. We're going to have to be a bit more selective on players coming up from the under-23s. We're going to have to be a bit more ruthless in letting players go. Whereas, like what Chelsea did, Chelsea hoard players and loan them out left, right, and centre. And it's a business model that's worked really well because Chelsea have sold brilliantly. I mean, but you look at someone like the likes of Gallagher. If he's not going to get first team football at Chelsea next year, he could be someone that could end up forcing a move away from Chelsea.
Chelsea get good money as well.
If Chelsea are allowed to sell, I think he goes in the summer.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised because
England international.
And I think there'll be a queue for it. I actually think for Gallagher, another year at Palace will do him good.
Listen, lads, the clock is ticking here. Let's get into the Liverpool Spurs game.
Yeah, we'll come back to the others in a minute, can't we? Because the rest of them are crap anyway.
Yeah, we'll chat about another. That's a whole show. We'll get into that in the summer when we've got nothing else going on.
Good show,
but Spurs Liverpool. I'm going to put my hands
under the lights. Brilliant.
I'm going to put my hands up. I was more. And this isn't disrespectful to Spurs in any way, shape, or form. I was more worried about Newcastle because of when the fixture was, the quick turnaround, the fact that it was away and it was a lunchtime kickoff. And I know Spurs are a better side, and they have more threats. But
this is a home tie with a 4-day break for us, which suits us.
Yeah,
and the kickoff time suits us as well because it's an evening kickoff, so you could almost make it a European night.
It's a 7:45 kickoff.
Yeah, 7:45 kickoff. So BT Sport. So
it's going to be absolutely buzzing, and the fact that we're going to Paris. And the manner of how we came back in against Villarreal, I think, will stand us in great stead for the rest of the season. Because I think that first half was to kick up the arse that we needed. And we said it, we talked about it on the night, and I think me and you've talked about it since, Chris. We've needed that kick up the hole and there's nothing wrong with it.
We had one with Inter at home.
Yeah, but with Inter there was no jeopardy because I don't think we were ever in danger. At 2-0 down in the performance that we put in that first half, we were in danger. Made no mistake about it. And Villarreal were flying. And we came out with a different animal in the second half. And I think if we take that form into tomorrow night, I don't care what Spurs think they can do. I couldn't care less what Heung-min Son stands on the halfway line and tries to play on the counter all night long.
We'll catch them offside all the time.
Spurs are a good side. Don't get me wrong. They're a very good side. But I just think that the motivation that we're going to carry into this game, and it doesn't matter about the quad now. This is about...
Oh, speak for yourself, Kev.
But this is about the next game, about tomorrow night. And heaping more pressure back onto City again.
Oh, yeah.
The motivation that we have, I just think that this is the one game I absolutely have no issue with us winning. I cannot see how we don't go into this full pelt, foot to the floor, and really go at this Spurs side. Bear in mind that this is a Spurs side that drew at home with us with a patched up side 2-2. And this was when Conte was flying. You know, Conte was
Just
the next big thing.
But
they were going to be challenging for titles and getting into top four. It was going to be this. It was going to be that.
Well, to put it into context, we had no Van Dijk, we had no Henderson, no Fabinho, no Thiago. So the midfield was Milner, Keita, and young Tyler Morton. You know, we played. You know,
and he should have been sent off in that game.
He could have been. What was the Leicester game? Leicester game should have been sent off.
Leicester game got sent off.
Well, it was Leicester one, and he would have missed that.
Yeah. So Leicester should be sent. Robson rightly got sent off. Kane didn't get sent off. But
if I speak, big trouble.
Big trouble. I'll call it as it is. England's Harry Kane doesn't get sent off, and for people thinking I'm being salty, England's Michael Owen when he played for Liverpool never got sent off when he should have got sent off quite a few times. It's just that's the way it is. So that's what I'm pretty confident because we're at home, and our home record against Spurs is pretty decent actually.
I think the last time we lost was 2011 2-0.
Yeah, and I think under Klopp we've only drawn one, which was the 2-2 with the infamous John Moss. What does the TV? The penalty where it says, "What does the TV say?" Oh, I'm giving it anyway. You're like, and the FA said he just misspoke.
Are you really, John? You think? Yeah, fuck you, John.
John, think so?
It's a shame because that's twice now. Salah scored that absolute world and it ended 2-2. City this year and that one game because that was a ridiculous goal.
At least he scored the world against Watford. And then we
apparently, Michael Oliver's the referee. So look, as referees go, he's probably the best of the ones we can get. I mean, he was poor. He was poor in the last game we had, but Michael Oliver in general is normally all right in big games. That's why he's given him.
I just don't see. I think look, Conte, the way Conte will line up, right, and he can't help himself. He will line up 5-3-2 or 5-2-3, one of the two, and he'll play Son, Kulusevski,
and Kane.
But he'll play Kane dropping in and look for Kulusevski and more than likely Son to play in behind our fullbacks, and he'll try to play on the counter. And that's how they'll play. That's how Conte always plays. And it's not new anymore. And whenever Spurs are asked different questions, like the questions that we will ask of them, which is Heung-min Son and Kulusevski, will you follow Trent and Robertson the other way? You probably won't. And then you've got, I think, two bang average fullbacks. With I think Romero's
very kind to Kev.
Romero's
very good. Romero's he's proved to be a very good centre back. Lloris has got a mistake in him left, right, and centre. You've also got a situation where Son is only 3 goals behind Salah in the goal charts. Salah's going to need Salah's going to want to put in.
Well, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
After his BC interview, he was pretty blunt, wasn't he? I want 40 goals and 10 assists. He goes, well, you got 15. He went, oh, good. So you need 10 more to get your record, don't you? And he goes, yeah, I do. And he was blunt. It was quite, do you know what? That BC interview with Salah was quite refreshing. It wasn't the stock, we just take everything, because it was, I want Real Madrid. Why? Because we owe them one and we play City all the time.
Yeah.
And I want to hit 40 goals. Why? Because that's what I do. And I went, do you know what you want to hear from a footballer? Because that's what I like here for. Everyone gets bored of the next games. I know they have to all do that, but I quite like that. They just say, yeah, I'm really good. I want to hit 40. If I don't hit it, I've not hit my target.
But you know what, right? I think when you watched the Salah's interviews in the last couple of days, you can see why the Spanish press and the Norwegian press, when he's given those one-on-one interviews, where the quotes come from. He's too honest. And he's too casual in how he comes across with comments. Because, look, if I'm Real Madrid, I want Salah talking about me for the next month. You know, they're sat there on their deck chairs with nothing to play for now for 4 weeks.
Yeah, Courtois said, oh, yeah, we've got 3 weeks off and they're playing in the Premier League. And I'm like, that's going to help us. That's going to help us get the rhythm.
But it would kill us to have that length of time off.
Yes.
For them, they desperately need it. They desperately need it because they don't have a deep
midfield. Yeah, that midfield needs looking after, age-wise. Technical ability, brilliant.
And you'll see it this weekend. I'll just quickly away from Liverpool Spurs minute. Atletico Madrid against Real Madrid this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see what team Carlo puts out, because that will be the signal for what is going to happen for the rest of their season. We just want to keep an eye on. But we got to do a bet, mate, for.
Oh yeah, so let me get bet
for tonight's for tomorrow night's game.
I think Kev should be hosting. You know, he's actually more organised.
He's on the ball.
Yeah, mate. I'm only 4 cans in. I'm good.
I'm
just getting into
I'm a little bit more nervous than YouTube.
You're the positive one.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's good though. That's fine. Is it good nerves or is it worried nerves?
A bit of both. I do agree with you, Kev. Newcastle was a difficult game, and that was probably our hardest away game left of the season. This is arguably our hardest home game left of the season. We know Conte's a party pooper. Do we know he'll love any opportunity to go, yeah, we'll help our top 4 and we'll end your title? Because I think Conte said, like, yeah, I want to be challenging with Spurs next season. Don't know how true that's going to be, but I am, you know, it's just that slow start. It's like we've got to start out the block. And I'm wondering if Klopp is just going to make a couple of changes. Luke gets the bet.
He's back again. Kev carrying Chris again. Well, let's face it, mate. You need 2 people to carry you. I've seen your shows. Anyway, back to bet, mate. So, goalkeeper. Are we going for Alisson, I'm assuming? Or do you want to go for Lloris?
Yes, he's only 4 away from Time Petr Cech's clean sheet record.
Yeah, so he needs a clean sheet in all the remaining games. Cool. Right. Defenders. Are we going both Liverpool?
Yes.
And if so, which ones do you want? Kev's having a think that because he's deep.
No, I'm letting Luke fly here. Luke is.
So Van Dijk.
Okay.
Trent.
Okay.
Let me find him. Trent and BVD. Midfield. Where's VVD gone? There's VVD. There we go.
Trying to think. Is it time to add a Spurs player in or not?
Well, it's either that or you put a Spurs player up front.
Luke, this is all you today.
All me.
All you.
I'll go Thiago.
Good call.
And then I'll go Bentancur for Spurs. Because he's been the main guy for them in midfield since he's joined.
Just so you know, interesting, Kulusevski is classed as a midfielder.
Is he? Well, I'll have Kulusevski midfield then. If he's classed as
So,
midfielder,
I don't want to be accused of influencing, but I just thought I'd let you know because
that's
in my head he's a forward, but this is not. Okay, and then front two,
Salah and Son,
Yeah.
the two golden boot chasers.
Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have one more Liverpool player and 2 more Spurs players for the bench. I'll put Lloris on the bench because I'm assuming that's your backup keeper.
Yeah.
So do you want to put a Liverpool striker as a bench player, or do you want a Liverpool midfielder as a bench player?
I will put Mane on the bench.
Put Mane on the bench. Okay. And then you need a defender and a midfielder, and they both got to be from Tottenham.
I'll put Romero and Højbjerg.
Okay. And captain and vice captain.
Captain Salah, vice captain Van Dijk.
Vice captain.
Because I just got a feeling he'll score from a set piece. Because it's been a while since he scored from one, so hoping.
Back in 1 minute.
Yeah, no problem.
1 minute.
So just to recap the team, and then we'll see what the guys think in the chat. We've got Alisson in goal, Trent and Van Dijk, who's vice captain, Thiago and Kulusevski, Salah, who's captain, with Son, and on the bench, Lloris, Romero, Højbjerg, and Mane. And save. So if we win, it's a team effort. If we lose, it's all your fault, Luke.
Yeah, I forgot Kane. I forgot Kane.
Sorry?
I forgot Kane. But
to be fair, which people will go mad over, but to be fair, Son is the man in form at the moment.
Yeah, but I do agree with Callum. Kane when Kane's ticking, he's ticking as well. But unlike last time, Kane's not picking up the ball with Tyler Morton in midfield. He's going to have Fabinho.
No. And
Thiago
Van Dijk
is
going to be back as well, which is going to be an interesting one. Avo said Diaz is the main man tomorrow. I do agree. I must admit, he was the one I was toying with. Do you put him in? But listen, it's a nice way to speak because before it just Salah, Mane, done. That's what you always do. But now it's like, Diaz though. Diaz is a good. Is like a good conversation.
Absolutely minced in here.
We're just talking about Kev saying you look at that lineup and say there's no Kane, there's no Diaz, but it's not because it's a stupid idea. It's just like I can't fit them all in. It's quite a nice place to be. So I'll give you what I think the Spurs team will be, and then we'll have a fight over the Liverpool team because that's more fun, to be honest. So I think it'll be Lloris in goal, Romero, Dyer, and Davis as a back three.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'd be Emerson Royale, Bentancur, Højbjerg, and Sessegnon, and Kulusevski, Kane, and Son. I don't think Moura. I know Moura started over Kulusevski in the last game. I don't think he will in this one. I think Moura will be off the bench.
I think that's about as strong as they can go.
And to use
it's a good side.
It is a good side.
It is a good side, but they have to get something, and a point will do with them.
Yeah, point ends our title,
but
potentially.
From their,
it makes it more difficult.
From their point of view, a point's
all right, but
it's all right. But ideally, I think they need 3.
I think they want to go into the London derby ahead or level. Yeah. I don't think they want to be chasing it. But to use a Graham Souness acronym, which he's very good at using, which is what's he always say when he had Bob Page jazz? Find the dope. And for me, you target Emerson Royale. Emerson Royale to me screams Serge Aurier.
Yeah.
And Serge Aurier used to have really good game, could have really good against Liverpool, then he'd get the penalty away against Mane, or he'd handball it randomly for no reason, or he'd
versus Emerson.
That's what I mean. I think that's you. Now the only snag is he has Romero sweeping up behind it, and Romero's excellent. But I think that's the weak point.
Can be rash.
To target anyone, I target Romero out of 2.
Yeah.
So that'd be my guess. Laura says Arsenal on 63, Spurs on 61, and Arsenal playing Leeds on Sunday. So again, that's probably going to make Spurs go for it more look, if you're a Spurs fan, you're going, they're going to batter Leeds because Leeds are in hopeless form and they've got nobody fit.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one. Right, Kev, I'll let you go first because I always bully Luke on this for picking Reece Williams.
Liverpool lineup.
And then we can see, because I think we'll all be slightly different.
All right, I think you got Alisson. I think you got Trent. I think you got Matip. But do you know what? Leave that one because it could look. No, it could be Matip.
Sorry, I'll take your first answer. You said Matip.
Yeah, I will go Matip for the experience.
Right.
Virgil, and Robbo. Fabinho, Henderson, and Thiago.
Mm-hmm.
And Diaz, Mane, and Salah.
Okay. The only change I've got is I've got Konate starting for his pace.
Yeah,
I
that
just
is
think
my
that
only position.
And I think Matip's experience will be needed for the Villa game.
No, I think when you have Matip being able to carry the ball through the lines, that gives every time we've played Spurs, having Matip being able to carry the ball through is something that Spurs struggle to deal with. And if they're only playing with the two-man midfield, then having that runner coming from the back opens, because someone will be drawn to him. That opens space for others.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that Ibu doesn't do.
I'm in trouble. Laura Duffy agrees. That means I'm clearly
I just
wrong.
think like Matip always seems to have a good game against Spurs.
I have pearls once or twice. And I think that Henderson makes more sense than Naby due to his positional sense with Kane and Son. Because their link-up play is excellent, let's be honest.
Sam with an interesting shout saying, I've got a weird feeling Jones will start with Fabinho and Henderson. He was one of the best players against Spurs in the last season's home game. He was actually, and when you look at that side, the back two was Fabinho and Reece Williams. And to be fair to Reece Williams, he made one mistake, not a mistake. He just got inexperienced, got caught out for the equaliser. But other than that, was pretty flawless. He was barely tested.
I thought Curtis Jones looked really sharp when he came on against Villarreal the other night.
The one time that pissing keeper could save anything was when he got a shot off.
It was only because he fell on the ball.
I know, it was typical thinking, God, he's dived out the way. He did a Brad Jones or anything else, dived out the way. That's the one he stayed for. I was like, oh, so frustrating. So,
hang on. Avo and Kevin Ball are saying Mercedes are 1-2 in qualifying. That's not qualifying. It can't be qualifying. But in
we've done F1 chat, Kev. Come on,
that's good.
Kev.
All right, I'm going to have to go and watch that. Barry, behave yourself.
So, Luke, what are you? What have you got? What have you got for your team? Which side of the fence are you leaning onto?
I think I'm on Kev's side of the fence, to be honest with
Of course you are.
Because we are going to need his runs from midfield, because I reckon Conte's going to say, right, let's see how long we can keep them out for before hitting them on the break. So I reckon that's going to be the game plan.
Which I don't blame them. I mean,
Matip played well against Spurs, especially last season away when he did his ankle in the first half. Like he dealt with someone. Someone's fairly quiet up until then. So I reckon he'll start this game. Konate will start midweek, and then it'll be Matip for the final.
I think that's up. I think that's up for a chat there.
Yeah,
Laura Duffy, Bracky's ready to turn his camera off when the F1 double back. I was ready to end the stream when the F1 talk came back. Oh
no, we'll get there eventually with him. But there was one comment going back a bit further there, Billy O'Flynn, and I know Billy, and
this one,
and he's right. Whoever we put out, we're good enough to beat Spurs, and I think the momentum that we have. Billy's spot on in his comments.
The first home game since Klopp signed a new deal.
There's so much positivity that is going to come from a Saturday night game. We don't get Saturday night games; they're rare. So the atmosphere is absolutely going to be hopping, and everyone knows what's on it. The only worry that I have is that we go gung ho and try to force it. I don't think we will.
If we score the first goal. It's going to be in for party night.
Kev Ball, that's coming. Just so you know, we'll get to them in a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
right, come on, guys. You know the rules.
Yeah,
score predictions and who are the scorers?
3-0.
Luke, 3-0. Who's scoring?
3-0. Diaz and Salah twice. I really want Alisson to get 24 clean sheets. So,
you took my score already. You took my score already, so I can think of something else now. Thanks, Luke.
Yeah, I think 3-1. I sadly don't think Alisson...
That's my backup score, right?
Yeah, I don't think Alisson gets to keep a clean sheet. I would love it if he did.
He'll get close if he doesn't do it.
I can see Sadio getting 2 and Salah getting 1.
Okay. I seen you both took the 2 scores I thought was both pretty good backup options. I'll give you the horrible one then. The horrible one is going to be 2-0.
No.
Van Dijk's going to score early, and Salah is going to score in the 91st minute, Man United style.
Don't you dare! I want a comfortable time at
Because I'll
work.
be honest, that is the way this season's going to go.
Luke, you'll go hopping and buzzing into your watch along on Saturday night, mate. With that,
Yeah,
you'll be buzzing out.
I'll be
I must admit,
bouncing. Like,
those sort
when I
of
was at
results.
work watching that Villarreal game, when we scored, I went nuts. So it was a good thing my work was quiet. But I'm going to be so...
Callum's got a horrible one. He's got 2-1. Bonker's got 2-0.
2-0.
Avo's got 4-1.
I'm on Team Avo. I'm on a Team Avo.
Diaz and Trent.
That'd be interesting.
That's a good shout. But yeah, I've just got a feeling. What's this? Watch Kev change his score, and it'll be Bracky's second backup answer. See, Laura knows how this game works. Whatever answer I give you,
it's the game.
Yeah. The more I'm thinking about it, the more it feels like that season, which is.
I just think that we'll end up tomorrow night.
Horrible.
We'll be top of the league, and City have to. This is the thing. We'll move on to the Man City game, right? I don't really care about the other.
Last game of the weekend.
Yeah, I don't really care about the other games, to be honest.
Yeah. Neither do I.
Man City have a huge task. 89th minute away in the Bernabeu, and they're looking to Paris, and all's rosy in the garden, and they absolutely shit the bed. A mad 2 minutes. Rodrigo comes. Not Rodrigo. Yeah, Is it Rodrigo?
Yeah.
He comes off the bench and he literally go bang bang. It's mental what they've done. They've done what Manchester United did to Bayern Munich all those years ago, and my head was so fried watching that game because when it went to extra time and they got the penalty, I honestly, for the love of God, honest to God, thought they were level. When the final whistle went, I was in the chat talking about penalties. I did not compute in my head that they were ahead. And I was wondering why City were throwing the kitchen sink at it, and they were really going for it, and they were brave and what have you. And I thought, well, they're going to, it's going to be penalties.
So behind the curtain, this is obviously me and Kev. So Kev's getting used to me going a few minutes Man City in the final, and even when the equaliser went, but it's too late now. It took him 90 minutes to get a shot. So don't worry about that. He said 6. Kev went 6 minutes though. Yeah, but come on, let's see what happens. And then, as I said, come on, and mesh back up. Well, it shows what I know. Because
City had goal. Oh my God. As a keeper.
Yeah, Laura's spot on. I honest to God thought it was 5-5 in aggregate. Straight up. I did. I honest to God thought it was 5. Because I was in the chat with everyone there on the other night waiting for you guys for the show to start. And I honest to God thought this is going to depends here. And then I just saw to get the final whistle went, and Madrid come out with the shirts and let's go for 14 on the back.
Let's go for 14, That's all the motivation we need.
Yeah, look, good luck to them. They're going to need all the help they can get. But City, you can imagine what that must be like. Can you imagine what that must be like as a fan?
Oh.
You know what I mean? You're there. You're right there.
Like that was against Spurs in 18-19. Played on the weekend, beat Spurs 1-0.
Yeah.
But Spurs rested everyone.
Let's see.
But Spurs rested loads because Spurs basically went, as soon as they beat City, went, our season is Champions League. And they basically what Liverpool did when we tried to get to the Europa League final with Klopp is we rest everyone or we all balls out for the European. Which, to be fair, you'll blame him. You would, wouldn't you? But the amount of doubling down I've seen on the Manchester City side of, well, the league's more important and no one cares about Europe. You're going, that's when you know it's because
that's why you won't win it.
The thing is though, but we can all be cocky now. Before we won the league, we were forever going, but European Cup, big boy football, the league's nice, but you want the big boy football. Deep down, so we're going, well, I don't want to win the league, so I've got to do something to big myself up. So, my prediction with City in general and the European Cup is City will eventually win the European Cup,
like Chelsea 2012.
They will. That's what I think it will be. I think it will be when Pep
expect it.
It'll be when Pep leaves and they'll either have an interim manager or
Mikel Arteta.
Random manager who go like, this guy's shit. And then when you're, because Di Matteo did that.
Frank Lampard, then, Chris.
No, I said a manager. Do you know what I mean? Let's not go too far. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
He's
look,
still claiming the Chelsea one.
We've talked for a good while that for all the talk of Man City's squad depth, they're threadbare.
I still see fans complaining.
No, I don't mind the complaining side of it. Their squad is at its limit now, with injuries and players having been overplayed by Guardiola. Guardiola's overplayed a certain amount of players in that squad.
The boys having ankle injections.
Yeah,
Kyle Walker needed to be off 20 minutes earlier than he was off. You could tell he was.
Apparently, Laporte's injured as well. Stones is out.
Yeah, it's
KDB looks.
It's literally going to be
knackered.
backs to the walls for them now for the rest of the season. Now, this could work one of two ways. This could really get their back up, and they decide, right, no matter what happens, we are not messing this up. Yeah. Or they could be all aboard on the pity bus and start feeling sorry for themselves, and the poor me syndrome takes over.
Yeah, Pep said before they played the second leg, it was like, yeah, we're going to win all 4 of our games, or we're going to be the Premier League champions. I'm thinking, well, let's see if you're going to be talking like that once the second leg happens.
But to be
and
fair,
his press conference was like, yeah, I've never been told that I have to win the Champions League. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's a lie. That's a lie. You can't spend £1 billion and not win it. And yes, this year, do I place as much blame on him as previous years? Probably not. Because in that first leg, they should have buried Real Madrid. But they gave Real Madrid a chance. They left the door open. And Real Madrid was saying, thank you very much. We'll go right through that door and we'll send you packing.
I agree with Luke. I wouldn't blame Guardiola for anything in the 2 legs. I think for once he didn't overthink it.
No, the only sub you possibly was taking Mahrez off. Kevin De Bruyne, on paper looked surprising, but he looked knackered.
Yeah.
Well, as somebody pointed out to me on social media, the right was Kevin De Bruyne looked knackered and wasn't great in the Anfield game at home, but then scored the equaliser because he had. Because Kevin De Bruyne on one leg can still bend it top corner, and you go, shit. So I do get why some people got a bit upset with it, but he did look knackered.
Mahrez is a threat.
He wasn't playing great, but he's like a De Bruyne. He has that moment where you go.
But even after Pep made the changes, they had chances. They had good chances.
Because me said that when he went to 2-1, and they said 2-1 going to extra time. We went, how big was that clearance by Mendy for Grealish? Because that was unreal.
Exactly. I think Ferland Mendy's an outstanding fullback, and he's only going to get better as the years come on. But Real Madrid are in the middle of a rebuild, and they've won the league, and they've got to a Champions League final. And look at who they've beaten: PSG, they've beaten Chelsea, and they've beaten Man City.
All these teams,
they're no joke.
And they've all come back from losing positions.
Yeah.
Big,
but they've never been good away from home in any of the games.
Liverpool
they've been poor away from home all the time.
To score early and not miss their chances and actually bury them so they can't re-emerge.
For me, this one, I don't lay at Pep's door. I laid the Champions League final at his door last year, 100%.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, the players have to carry the can for that performance against Real Madrid over 2 legs. It wasn't the game plan. Yeah, but it wasn't the game plan that was the problem. It wasn't the tactics that weren't the problem. It wasn't the substitutions were the problem. It was the players. It was poor finishing. It was not being ruthless enough. Now, that's why I said about it could go one of 2 ways. The players could get on the pity bus, or they could decide, we're winning this league and that's it.
Well, if you look at the goals,
we'll find out.
We'll look at the goals. Edison turned into Mignolet, made himself as small as possible, which is quite a skill. And the second goal, it was, to me, it was like, do you play musical chairs and you turn the music off? It was like it's like someone told City, freeze, because Rodrigo, he's minuscule. He's such a small bloke.
He's about 5'8", 5'9". He's a winger.
But actually, when you look at that header, though, I didn't realise till the second replay. It comes off Asensio.
It's a deflection,
It's a deflection of Asensio, which is what gets it over the first centre-back. It's a cracking header.
Yeah, it's a great header. and it was the fact that they stuck in it and they kept going. That's why I look at this Madrid side. They've got that thing, that stickability. They don't know when they're beaten. So, I mean, when we get around to talking about the final, I
leave that till after.
I know the people that are in the chat. They won't get carried away, But you're going to see people online thinking that it's Madrid and they're washed up, and they look at Toni Kroos and Luka Modric and they look at their age and what have you.
We said this in 2018.
They ain't. Yeah,
I said in the group chat when they were all talking about the final, I was like, no, next game for me, Spurs. Still got a job to do. Still got a job to finish. Yeah. So I'm not worried about the final till the week up.
How do you guys see City Newcastle going score wise?
Go on, Luke.
I'm going to keep predicting a draw, 1-1. I am a glutton for punishment. So do not be surprised if they go 1-0 up in the first 10 minutes and it's, we'll beat you 4-0. I'm like, that's another team down.
What have you got, Kev?
West Ham do the job, and Wolves and Villa. So I just hope.
What have you got, Kev?
This is the game.
3-0 City. I just think that if they're going to slip up, it won't be this game. Newcastle, for me, are on the beach. The players who are staying know who they are, and they know they're comfortable. I thought they were poor against us.
Shelby loves a good game against City.
Yeah, but I just thought we were poor away to them, and we got the win, but without having to do anything. They were bang average. They created nothing. I think St. Max is nothing but a show pony.
Oh, he's come out with comments saying,
exactly. It's like, in fairness, mate, stay in your lane. You're not good enough to play for.
What was his comments? I've missed these. What's
about moaning, saying like if they had a better striker, he'd have 15 assists this season, and saying, I'm not jealous of Mane. I believe that I've got the quality to be up there with the Ballon d'Or, not now, but in the future. I'm thinking like,
wow.
I
can remember. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Liverpool fans were online messaging St. Maximin about come to Liverpool, replace Sadio Mane. You're going to be the new Sadio Mane. And he turned around and said, I am light years away from being anywhere near as good as Sadio. He was right then. I don't know who the hell he thinks he is, but
he's Mr. Gucci.
He is. I play a lot of FIFA. On FIFA, he's a joke. He's an absolute joke of a player, of a card, because of the card that he is on a video game. If he's starting to believe the hype, forget about it. I'm looking at him and what he's producing for Newcastle, and he runs into blind alleys. He's got a trick on him, but he doesn't do it. He's got no end product. He doesn't score goals. He doesn't create anything. He looks good. That's all he does. And I would run a mile from someone like him. He screams to me Manchester United. And I just look at it.
There's talk of Trippier being back, and John says if you get into 0-0 and 60, they'll shit their pants.
Hey, let's get to 45 first.
Because... to be honest, the way some games are going, get to 5 minutes.
Look,
I'm going to go 2-2. I'm like Luke. You just got to hope, haven't you?
You got to hope. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would I'd absolutely love nothing more than John Joe Shelby to rattle in a 35-yard screamer. Please. And then defend for their lives for 90 minutes. I don't see that being the game.
I'm kind of hoping Ederson did what he did against Wolves the year we won the league.
He should have conceded a penalty against Newcastle, but that got completely missed. So
I'm hoping Ederson gets himself sent off like he did at Wolves away.
We'll see. I mean, there's some of the other games, right? Arsenal Leeds. How do you see that one going?
Arteta new deal. Fans are split.
2 or 3 0 to Arsenal, I would say. Leeds are garbage.
2-0.
I went 3-2, but listen, quickly on that one, Arteta's new deal. They won't have a better chance to finish top 4 because they never had Europe, and he's done well.
If he finished the job, then I could understand why, but you've not finished it yet.
Yeah, I am thinking that you probably could have waited till the summer to do that. Yeah. But perhaps I'm hoping that's a bit of a
I just think that once the Aubameyang incident happened, the board
I'm not convinced on him. I'm not convinced.
The board
Still.
are all in with him.
And then the other big game of the weekend, Leicester versus Everton. Now, this will be an interesting one because Leicester off the back of Europa League disappointment where, listen, look, there's no shame losing to Roma. Roma are a good side, and they give it a good go. Against the Everton side, who are horrendous away from home. I think it's one away win all season in the league.
Yeah.
But this is Brendan Rodgers, and he's sometimes the gift that keeps on giving. So,
look, I think that Everton pick up 3 points. I think they win 2-1.
Okay. I've got 2-1 Leicester because it's Everton away from home. If it was at Goodison, after coming off a European game, I'd fancy Everton.
I got 3-1 Leicester because I want Everton to go down. So badly.
It's one of those games where you're going, I think whatever score wouldn't surprise you. It feels like one of those games where if Leicester win, you go, well, Everton is shit away from home, so what you expect. But if Everton get anything out of the game, you go, well, they're coming off a European game, and actually, I probably would fancy them. Because you wonder how fit was Vardy. I don't know if they just patched him up for the European games. And look, again,
the interesting thing for me is Burnley play Villa on Saturday, 3:00 kickoff. This game is on Sunday. Leicester obviously coming off a loss away in Europe. Mm-hmm. That's difficult in itself, but being a semi-final and the Thursday, the quick turnaround, the fact that they're pretty threadbare.
Whereas the Leeds game's the same time as Everton, so that's going to be a game. Both teams are going to play with a lot of pressure there, aren't they? So
they're the 2:00 games on a Sunday. So look, I just think Leeds are in a world of hurt now. They're in a world of trouble.
Leeds this season
this weekend,
Leeds this season rests on the last 2 games of the season, which is Brentford and I can't think of the other one is, but they're probably the 2 more likely winnable games, I would say. So, last couple of things before we go. MC says he's asked me, but I'll ask you a lot as well. Would you start Konate on Trent's side to help out against? I think he means Vinicius in the final. So we can change our minds later, but it's an interesting question because that's where we're like, do you want the pace of Konate or the experience of Matip?
Yeah, I'd be starting Matip all day long.
You start Matip, okay?
Yeah. Matip is quick enough, but he's very quick in the mind, and he reads a game brilliantly. Now, I think the difference between last time we played Madrid and this time, I think Vinicius has really kicked on. For those of you who don't watch Spanish football,
I find him really erratic.
He's been exceptional this season. He has been outstanding. Him and Benzema, the link-up play has been brilliant, and his composure this season has been outstanding. He's not the. I think potentially he could eclipse what Neymar has done for Brazil, because
that's a shout.
I think he has everything that Neymar has as a player without the drama. He doesn't. No, straight up. I honestly think that he's going to eclipse what Neymar has done.
He's a very polarizing opinion, I would say, social media wise. People have. I find him. I only sit. Listen, I don't watch Real Madrid or that. I literally see what I see in Champions League, and I find Vinicius.
I watched the fair
really erratic. As in, I think 1 minute he does some wonder stuff like the goal against City, which you go, wow, looks brilliant. 2 minutes later, he looks like a competition win, like he can't pass the ball 2 yards.
But I think you're going to see
that's the thing with wingers sometimes. They can't.
You're going to get that, especially the young ones. But I think you're going to get him next year when Camavinga comes into the Real Madrid side.
He looks excellent
full time. I think you'll see a better Vinicius again. You got to think he signed for 45 million at 16, I think 16 or 17. He was a kid. He was. I mean, the thing is with Neymar. Neymar has all of the ability in the world, but it's the other side of his game, and Vinicius doesn't really have that, and he's got years ahead of him to kick on. I honestly believe that we're going to be looking at a player. He's going under the radar because of Mbappe and Haaland. But I think he's going to be every bit as good. And Madrid picked him up for, I think, what's going to be an absolute bargain. That 45 million euro that they paid for him as a teenager is going to prove to be an absolute bargain. Laura's there. He's only 21 now, and he's only going to get better. But I think he's going to get better as the team evolves around him.
I think that's going to help him. So, a couple of bits of housekeeping. So tomorrow, we will have full-time Reds. It's me and probably you, Kev, isn't it? Is it me and you
tomorrow
again?
night. Yeah.
Cool. And then on Sunday, it'll be the usual guys with Fat Back 4. Oh, one bit of housekeeping. I read this earlier today. I believe half-time of the Liverpool Spurs game, the Liverpool women are being going to come on the pitch with the championship trophy.
They need their own bus.
That's really good.
The trophy parade. They
What's that,
need
sorry?
their own bus.
Hope so. That'd be a nice thing as well. So I think they're only going to get that if we win one of the two big trophies, which would be Champions League or League. I think then there'll be a parade. I think
All the trophies, Chris. All the trophies.
I'm just leaving out there. But again, that's another nice thing for us to do as a club is celebrate the other part of the club that is also doing very well. So again, could be looking at 5 trophies this year. Brilliant.
I think I saw something in the week as well. Ian Rush was tweeting about it. The under-23s won the Lancashire Cup.
Yeah, they beat Burnley 1-0.
Hey, guess what? They'll need their own bus as well.
I know. We're going to lorry soon, aren't we, with all these trophies? So anyway, listen, it's 11:30. We need to let people go now because obviously it's practically Saturday. So not long till kickoff now if we go for much longer.
So it's nice we can have a lie-in tomorrow. We've got no early kickoff. Can you imagine? We were supposed to be the early kickoff again if it wasn't for the fixture schedule.
What?
Yeah. Although as I saw, shout out to Klopp though, who pointed out, apart from last season, in 3 of the last 4 years, we have a 100% win record at half 12s. As much as we hate them, last year was 20%. We were horrendous. But 2 previous years and this year, we have a 100% win record at half 12s. It just never feels like that, but apparently we do. Yeah. But anyway,
one quick last question.
Go on,
Luke. Quad on?
Yes.
Chris?
Believe.
Yes. Always.
All the belts, as Callum would say.
All the belts.
What about you, Kev?
All the belts. Yeah, I think it's definitely on. I don't think City drop it this week, but I think they do it next week.
There you go. So on that happy note, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and you'll see me and Kev on Saturday when Liverpool are still chasing the quad.